This is Bold TV. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bold TV, standing for beautiful, outstanding ladies with disabilities. This program, which comes to you every Saturday by 10:30 a.m., is powered by Bold Heart Initiative. We come to you on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Our YouTube channel is www.youtube.com/@boldtv_boldhearts. And our Facebook page is www.facebook.com/boldheartnetwork. For any women with disabilities out there who want to be a part of this program, all you need to do is reach out to us. And really, it's open to other women who are experts, or who have opinions on different topics. You can write in to us on boldhearts.network.info@gmail.com. Everything is showing on the screen for those who are able to see. And that is because we want to hear from you. We want to give you the platform to use your voice to speak about disability and its related issues. Today we have an interesting topic in line with a powerful day that comes up every 13th day in the month of June, and that is World Albinism Awareness Day. And to help me to host this episode are my co-hosts, Afyong and Osaki. So I'll allow them to quickly introduce themselves. You've met them and you meet them every Saturday, but they're going to introduce themselves, and afterwards we'll turn the introductions to our guests. And so Afyong, please introduce yourself. You know the drill. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, people. Welcome to another episode of Afyong, medical lab science based in New This is a wheelchair spinal cord injury, and I'm a member of Bold Heart Initiative.
You're welcome, Afyong. And I know the weather in Uyo is icky like everywhere else, but we'll push it through. Osaki, please introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Bold TV. I remain Osaki Teresa George. We reside in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. A member of Bold Heart Initiative, work with Fair Care Foundation. I'm a polio warrior. Check behind me is my crutches smiling. I am so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Osaki. I thought I heard you say your crutches were smiling. LOL. All right. So I'm going to turn the conversation over to our guests so that they can introduce themselves. Today, Constance is a co-host. Who is a co-host is a guest, and that's because of what we're speaking to. So she is going to be a guest to answer some of the questions along with the guests that we have today. So Constance, please introduce yourself. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here once again. My name is Constance Onyemechineka, a person with albinism. I reside in the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory, the founder and CEO of Women and Girls with Albinism Network. Thank you.
You're welcome, Constance. So let's have Madam Bisi Bamishe please unmute and introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be on this program today. My name is Mrs. Bisi Bamishe. I am the National President of Albinism Association of Nigeria. I'm a journalist by profession, and I lecture at Nigerian Institute of Journalism, Odba, Lagos. So I reside in Lagos.
Wow, great to have you on Bold TV. And that's the first time that we're having you on the show, Ma. So if we had bell, we'll ring the bell. We'll ring it in our minds. You're welcome, Ma. And so let's have Gold Onome, please introduce yourself.
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Gold Onome Peter. I am the Communication Officer of Women and Girls with Albinism Network, and I am a person with albinism. I reside here in Abuja.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. The beauty of technology is that we can connect from anywhere in the world. Osaki in Port Harcourt, Afyong in Uyo in Akwa Ibom State, Gold and Constant in Abuja, Madam BC in Lagos, and I'm in Port Harcourt. My name is Freki Andrew Essien. I'm a member of Bold Hearts Initiative, the Executive Director of Faker Foundation, and I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury. And I'll be hosting alongside with my co-hosts today. So like I said, every 13th of June across the world over is World Albinism Awareness Day. It's important for us in the disability cluster to learn about other types of disabilities. And a day like that set aside in the world calendar is another example that we can do that. So today the entire focus will be on albinism. So I'll take on the first question. And the question I would like to throw to our president for the Albinism Association Network of Nigeria, Madam BC, please, what is World Albinism Day? Thank you.
World Albinism Day is the same thing as International Albinism Awareness Day. This is a day that the United Nations dedicated for all persons with albinism. It is aimed at ensuring that the challenges of persons with albinism has a voice all over the world. That is a day we tell everyone that these are our challenges, what we are passing through, and find a way of getting those challenges resolved.
Amazing. So the day set aside by the United Nations to put a focus on albinism and persons with albinism, and focusing on the challenges and preferring solutions and drawing partnerships in solving these challenges. Interesting. So I'd like to throw it and leave Afyong to go ahead and take on the next question.
Okay. All right. So to Constance, I'd like to ask, what is the focus of this year's World Albinism Awareness Day? What is the focus?
Oh, thank you very much, Afyong. The theme for this year is inclusion is strength. And that is because it has been identified that persons with albinism are being excluded in the society, in all spheres of the society. So the focus for this year is to ensure that diversity is embraced, including persons with albinism being embraced in the community, to ensure that all persons are carried along, irrespective of how they look, irrespective of what you think a person should look like, but everybody is embraced, everybody is included. It is also to acknowledge the winnings of other persons with albinism, who have been able to stand out against all odds and carve the niche for themselves. Lastly, it is to also boost the confidence level of all persons with albinism across the world. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your answer. Over to you, Freddie.
Wow, great contributions, and I like the threefold approach to the focus for this year, 2023. You said inclusion is strength, and we're going to focus on that a bit later in the program. And I like how you spoke about the importance of the focus of the day being to acknowledge the winnings of other persons with albinism. As we all know, the narrative when it comes to disabilities usually is on the pity side. So they like to show the problems and then they forget to celebrate the wins. And I know that the albinism community in Nigeria is bolstering really strongly, rallying around each other to make sure that people begin to see albinism not just as a a challenge, when a child comes out all beautiful and white and they're like, oh God. So they begin to see that it's a beautiful thing. And then the third one you mentioned was boosting the confidence of fellow persons with albinism. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So I'd like to turn this to Osaki to ask another question as regards to the conversation.
All right, thank you very much. My question will go to Gold. From your introduction, you say you are the communicator of women and girls with albinism. So through that, I would like to ask this question: why is today important? The Albinism Day today. Why? Why is it important to persons in the albinism cluster and the larger disability community? Why the awareness? Why today is being marked? Good.
Please unmute yourself to speak. Good.
Okay, sorry about that. It is important because persons with albinism need this inclusion. They need to be included when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to creating awareness and empowerment. So now this would also be beneficial to the society. I mean, they'll be able to stand up and beat their chest saying that, okay, this person with a disability, this person with a disability who is a person with albinism was able to achieve this. So that is why it is very important that they are being included.
Okay, thank you very much for that enlightenment.
All right, Go. Thanks for highlighting on the importance of this day to society. To the albinism cluster. But I would like Madam BC to speak to it. Why is it important for us in the disability community and the wider society to join you on this day? Or do we get to join?
Actually, thank you. The society as well as the disability community are all expected to celebrate the day with us, simply because, and to the glory of God, the theme is even inclusion. We want everybody to be included in the celebration. The society and the person with disability community, they will be able to learn more about what albinism is all about. I mentioned earlier that is a day aimed at creating awareness for our challenges. We have many challenges, and if we do not create awareness for them, people will not understand who exactly we are. So a day like this, everyone is expected to join us in the celebration, either people with disabilities or the general public, because by the time we started rolling out our programs, like this one that we're having now, I believe that people listening to us will learn one thing or the other about who a person with disability, with albinism is. Thank you.
Interesting. So we're here to learn. Okay, I'll ask another question so that we can learn some more. It's time to now start getting aware.
Yeah, so me, I like celebration, so join you to celebrate today. And the United Nations will organize the rice. So this is my favorite question, and I'm sure there are many people who have been curious about it. Constant, stop turning away. This question is coming to you. Yes, I've been curious about this too. Why is albinism a disability? I'm sure I'm not the only one that wants to know.
So yes, I've heard people say, oh, persons with albinism, people are not persons with disability. But then what exactly is a disability? According to the World Health Organization, they talk about impairment when your impairment interacts with the society. Now, a disability is set to take place when your impairment comes in contact with the barriers in the society, which leads to activity limitation and participation restriction. Let me bring it down to albinism. Impairment. We have low vision. In as much as we are all persons with albinism, we have two types of albinism. We have ocular and we have oculocutaneous. I am oculocutaneous, which affects the eyes, the skin, and the hair. Now, all persons with albinism have two things in common: skin, little or no production of melanin, which is actually responsible for skin pigmentation, and then we have low vision. Even though we are persons with albinism, we see at varying degrees, but then we have low vision, though we see at varying degrees. So now, when we have this impairment already, because we are born with it, and this impairment comes in contact with barriers. Now, let me state some barriers. We have attitudinal, that's discrimination and stigmatization. We have communication. We have institutionalized barriers. Let me give an example of a child with albinism in school. This child already has low vision. And then the child is in the classroom. The child is placed anywhere to see, and the child cannot see. That is activity limitation. The child has come in contact with a barrier, which is the child cannot see at that point where he or she is seated. So there is an activity limitation which limits that child from participating on an equal basis, on an equal level with his or her mates in the classroom. And that is why most times you see a child in school, a child with albinism in school, taking the last position in class, because the child does not participate, the child does not even understand. Now that is activity limitation. Then the child goes out during break time to play with his or her mates. And you know, in the playground, there is no top covering. There is always the sun coming down. Now that child cannot withstand the sun. The child has to go inside while his or her mate is playing. That is participation restriction. Now, when those impairments, his eyes and the skin has come in contact with a lot of barriers in the society, that is when a disability is said to have taken place. Now, for a person with disability, we have low vision. That is an impairment which is long-term, which cannot be cured. And then there are barriers in the society. We have little or no production of melanin, which limits our movement. Now, if someone with albinism is set to go out or the person has an appointment for 2 p.m., the person cannot leave his or her house by, let's say, 12 p.m. because the person needs to avoid the ultraviolet rays from the sun. So which means the person now has to leave the house early, either 7 o'clock for a meeting set for 2 p.m. The person has to leave his or her house early. And even when the meeting is over for 2 p.m., the person has to stay where he or she is to leave that meeting venue by 5 because of the sun. Because as a person with albinism, you are advised to avoid the sun from 9 to 4:30. So you see that a person with albinism cannot do the things that others are doing at the same pace they do it. That is why we say a person with albinism is also a person with disability. Thank you.
It shocked me. I have to say that, but thank you for the detailed explanation. I don't think anybody out there who has heard this will be questioning why albinism is a disability anymore. Over to you, Freki.
Thank you, Afio. So I'm hoping that somebody listening out there, even members of the disability community, who always ask this question. In fact, I got this question, I think last month during our radio program. Somebody called in to ask why persons with albinisms are considering themselves as persons with disabilities. Thank God I have knowledge. I answered the person. And today we've all learned that when it comes, especially when you put it, in the definition according to the UN's United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, we can see clearly what the impairment does when it interacts with the environment to cause activity limitation and participation restriction. I wonder how a person who is not allowed to go into the sun from 9 to 4:30 p.m., whether the person will now be working in the night only. So we're going to learn some more about how you can protect yourself, because that's also important for persons with albinism who are listening. Because I've found that a lot of young persons are not really aware of what they can do, because for crying out loud, you must go to school, and school is not in the night. So we would like you to not just speak to the challenges, but to speak to some of the solutions that can boost, because you talked about the importance of the day being about also boosting the confidence levels of persons with albinism themselves. So I would just like to quickly slide this in, because it's not okay to just speak to challenges. What are some of the things that a person with albinism can do to strengthen inclusion within society and within the disability community, especially to enhance their activity, their activities, and eliminate participation restriction? So I'm going to throw this to Madam BC. Just one or two of some of the things that a young person with albinism can do to protect themselves and improve quality of life and improve their participation. So go ahead and unmute yourself, ma'am, and tell us two things. Go ahead, ma'am. Remember to unmute.
Now, one of the major challenges of people with albinism is our health. That is our skin, which has to do with the effects of the ultraviolet rays of the sun. If we are able to combat that, we overcome it, we'll be more effective in the society. And how can we curb it and be more effective? Number one, if we are able to protect ourselves from the sun by wearing long sleeve clothes, always putting on our sunscreen, that's sunblock to protect our skin, then also using big round hats to protect ourselves, as well as the use of umbrella. If we are able to do all this, we'll be able to protect ourselves from the sun, and then we'll be able to be more effective in the society. If you realize it, people with disability, with albinism, we are very, very intelligent. That's one thing I've come to know in life. So with that means we can operate anywhere in the sector of the society. You can see us in high post, because that is how God just made us. Our only enemy and our greatest enemy is the sun. So if you are able to combat that, of course, the sky is our limit.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. So I don't want to hog the questioning, but still in that line, I want to ask Gold, because they spoke to the ocular deficiency that comes and low vision that comes with albinism. So what are some of the ways or tips that could help a young person with albinism to be able to, walk through that beyond the, all of you are wearing glasses, including Afio. This is my own eyeglass. Let me identify. Wow, for the do I should be. Osaki, where's your eyeglass? Because he used to wear it. So just kidding. So Onome, just speak to how a young person can overcome this challenge. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Another way persons with albinism can overcome this challenge, in addition to what Mrs. BC said, now we need to enlighten the public. I mean, in schools, take for instance, you are a student of a particular school. If you don't tell your teacher that, ma'am, sir, I need to sit at the front for me to be able to see the blackboard, I wouldn't cope academically. Now, when we tell our teachers that we've overcome that challenge, and we also need to have high self-esteem. Now, when we have high self-esteem, it will make us bold to be able to tell this person, and we wouldn't, isolate ourselves from other persons with albinism. Also, wearing long sleeves is very important. We aren't saying that fashion is bad or you can't wear short sleeves, but when you want to go under the sun, you have to put on long sleeve. You need to apply your sunscreen at least 2 times daily. It depends on how the sun is hot. When you're going out, it's a pocketable cream, so you can just put it in your small handbag or anything you're carrying, so that when you sweat, that one is out of your skin. You apply it again, especially when you're going for meetings or stuff like that. Now, for the hat, when we are getting a hat, it shouldn't just be a round big hat, but is it covering our neck? Do we have umbrellas? Do we have glasses? Yes, the glasses, because when we go under the sun, even though we are with umbrellas, I mean, we can't open our eyes very well to look at where we are going to, and that's because the sun affects our eyes, human in general. So now we need glasses, photochromic glasses, so that when we get under the sun, it gets darker, and then we'll be able to open our eyes as wide as we can, so that we'll be able to work very well. And our glasses should also be an anti-blue ray light glasses. Now, when we're looking at our system or our phone, the light is directly inside our eye. So all of this would help. The most important of it is high self-esteem. And if we are able to, enlighten the public about ourselves, we shouldn't just isolate ourselves. Persons with albinism, some are always shy and some like isolating themselves. But when we enlighten the public, our teachers at schools, when we enlighten them, tell them our challenges, our headmistress, our proprietress, when we tell them our challenges, it makes it more easier for them to, put us in a way that we would be comfortable. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Gold. So many learning points. I see Constance like this. She wants to contribute to this line of conversation. Go ahead, Constance.
Okay, so they've said the whole thing. I want to use this opportunity to point out something. The media pose a lot of damage to persons with albinism. I've come across a lot of skits being done by persons with albinism themselves under the sun without proper clothing and sending the wrong narrative, all in the name of content creation and skits making. Persons with albinism should stop, because it is only killing the work others are doing to ensure that other persons with albinism build their self-esteem. It is knowledge that it is well known that a lot of persons with albinism, have low self-esteem. Now, these videos, these skits, makes it more difficult for persons with albinism to actually come out in the society. I mean, I, as a person with albinism who is an adult, I still go through discrimination and stigmatization from other adults who I might say they are not better off, but because they think they have plenty of melanin popping everywhere. So skits makers, content creators, the media should stop projecting persons with albinism as despicable and pitiful creatures, as objects of caricature. They should stop it, because it's not helping. It's not helping to boost the self-esteem of a lot of persons with albinism. That's all I want to add. Thank you.
Well, and very great point. A lot of people derive comedy from self-deprecation, and that's what you just described. When a person feels, let me laugh at myself first, so that other people will not laugh at you. But while you are creating content, Gold, I'm coming to you in a bit. But while you are creating content and generating likes, what narrative are you putting out there? with respect to a larger number of people that you are representing. And the thing about persons with albinism, just like obvious disabilities, is that you cannot hide. From far, we will see your let me use gold. We'll see your golden, beautiful self coming. So there's no hiding. So the media, in depicting a person with disability, a person with albinism, the narrative that you paint or create is really strong and can form opinions. And today we're trying to really debunk a lot. I know people are learning better. Even parents that have children with albinism are learning how to make sure that they care for their bodies and their skin, and they actually do better in school. And trust me, these small tips are going to go a really long way. So let's hear from Gold very briefly so that we can just jump into inclusion.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Another thing that is very important, it's the name persons with albinism bear. I know of someone whose family members still call Oyibo up till this date. And now they started calling her that from small. Her name is Precious. Now, Precious is a unique name. Why not call her Precious? You call her Oyibo. And then she didn't correct that impression. You're going on the road and somebody say Oyibo or albino. No, you politely tell the person, my name is Gold. My name is Onome, so that they would have it in mind. They will tell this other person, maybe when you're passing the next day, they'll say, don't call her Oyibo. She said her name is Gold. And then it's spreading everywhere. Before you know it, even people that don't know you will start calling you by your name. So let's be careful of the names we bear, the names we are okay with. We should be called our names. We shouldn't be called albino or Oyibo or Afin or white woman or anything. At least call me my name. Let the world know my name. And lastly, the tattoos persons with albinism draw on their body. It is very cancerous. Our skin is sensitive. Let's be careful of what we use. Let's be careful of the cream and soap we use. It should be mild and not harsh. Thank you so much.
Oh, great contribution. All right, so one of the things that we learned or were told with respect to World Albinism Awareness Day was that the focus for this particular year is on inclusion. Inclusion being strength, inclusion. So I'd like Osaki to take us on this journey of inclusion by asking the question around inclusion so that we can learn more. On mute.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Madam Bisi, what does inclusion means to you?
Okay, thank you. To me, as a person, inclusion means being in the state of being included in a structure or in a group. It is also creating or providing policies that will give equal access to everyone, equal opportunities to persons with albinism, either in education, children, as my sisters have already explained earlier, children are given equal opportunity in the classroom, adults, in terms of employment, they are given opportunity, employers create conducive environment for them in the offices, health-wise, the health sector, by giving the opportunity to have access to medical treatment. I want to bring to our knowledge that the skin cancer that we suffer kills us faster just because of the effect of the ultraviolet rays of the sun on our skin. If it's not properly taken care of in the early stage, it kills. And that is why it will amaze you that we lose at least 2 of our members every month. Just last Thursday we lost a lady in Lagos. So this is why we are asking God and the government to include us in the health sector service that they normally give people. We need to have free surgery treatments so that once we detect that there is cancer in our skin, we quickly get treatment for it. So this is why we want to be included in policies that will affect us, that will give us good life and make us to be more active in the society and contribute our quota to the system.
Okay, thank you very much. A keyword, yes, it's equal opportunity in life and to enjoy life to its fullest. All right, thank you, madam. Over to Fred.
Okay, so thank you, Osaki, and thank you, Madam BC, for speaking to what inclusion is to you and going ahead to give us examples of why we need to build an inclusive society, which was like a two-in-one question. So we're going to ask the same question.
So inclusion to me is the understanding that there's diversity and programming whatever you're doing, policies, acts, to incorporate the diversity of people in order to achieve equal opportunity or equal participation. Now, I'll break it down like Ms. Bisi has said, from one sector to another, inclusion. But I will speak for persons with albinism because, it's International Albinism Day. Now, for education, we already have a policy that says that persons with albinism should be given extra time in schools, right? But that policy is not being enforced. So you see a lot of persons with albinism who they don't even know that the policy exists, so they can't even fight for their rights. But that is a policy that is already on ground for education. For the school as well, you see a child, you as a school owner or a school proprietor or proprietress or director should know that your school is for the public. And you should also be aware that a person with albinism might come to your school or not. The uniform standard set for a person without albinism should not be the same for a person with albinism. Now, this is what we're saying in a school that is mainstream school. For there to be inclusivity in education, you should ensure that, starting from the uniform, ensure that a person with albinism gets the full covering of that same uniform, which is long sleeve and all, to protect that child. And also in the classroom, a person with albinism should get to choose where to sit. That is the mistake most educators make. They assume, we run a mainstream school, you're a person with albinism, we know, say they see, come and sit here. It doesn't work that way. Allow that person with albinism to pick a seat where to sit that will be comfortable for him or her, not you as an educator picking a seat. Now, that is what inclusion should look like. You identify that the society is diverse and you learn to incorporate that diversity in what you are doing to ensure that there is equal access, equal opportunity, and even playing field for everyone. That is inclusion.
Awesome. So I want to throw Afyong, and this is open question.
We've said a lot about education and creating equal opportunities. I'd like to talk about especially the workplace. What has been the experience, Madam BC? You're a journalist, so I'm sure you've had years of experience.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm a journalist, and people believe that journalism is for the men because of what the girls do suffer. As a journalist, it has not been that easy because when I started in 1991, I can remember how my editor treated me then because I wept. I said, can't they consider that I'm a woman? But when my editor was still adamant, I had to sit up. In journalism, as a reporter, you will have to go out to source for news yourself. In Lagos then, I will walk all through from Marina end, from the beginning to the end in the sun, going from one office to another looking for news. And by the time I got home then, my body will be red, serious sunburn, very painful. But over the years, I got used to it. So in the area in the workplace, they don't consider that you are a woman. And that is, as I told you, is a big challenge for us, where we have to be in the sun. Okay. So it has not been that easy.
All right, thank you very much, because I really wanted you to bring in the, how it has affected you as a person with albinism, if there have been any considerations or concessions. All right, thank you very much. Frankie.
All right, thank you so much for bringing in the challenges in the workplace and how we can build an inclusive workspace. All right, we need to bring this episode that has been amazing, so many learning points, to a quick close so that we're within the time frame. But we really want to appreciate everyone who has been on the program, and that is Madam BC, the president of AAN, Gold, who is the communications officer for Women with Albinism Network, and of course Constance, who is a madam in her own right. And my co-hosts who have been on the show asking amazing questions, Afyong and Osaki. Thank you for always being there on Bold TV. So we have been celebrating or marking World Albinism Awareness Day, or United Nations International Day for Albinism Awareness. It comes every 13th of June, and we are not late. It's never too late to raise awareness about different issues. And this program is all about disability and its related issues. You've learned today what World Albinism Awareness Day is. We have told you the focus for what this year is. We have been able to discuss why it is important for persons with albinism to mark this day and why it is important for the larger disability community and society. And we have looked at why albinism is a disability. That myth has been debunked today. And also we have looked about the challenges, preferred solutions, talked about what inclusion means to us, and we have spoken to how we can build an inclusive society in the areas of health, in the areas of education, and also in the area of the workplace. So it's been an amazing episode, many learning points for us in the disability community and for the society at large. I thank our guests for being with us. Onome, thank you for being on Bold TV. Madam BC, who had to take off, thank you for being on Bold TV. And Constance, thank you for being a guest today on Bold TV and sharing your wealth of knowledge. So this is Bold TV, powered by Bold Heart Initiative. We come to you every Saturday by 10:30 a.m. We show all our episodes on our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/Bold Heart Network, and also on our YouTube channel, where you can like, subscribe, and that's on www.youtube.com/@boldtv_Bold Hearts. If you want to be a participant or a guest on the show as a woman who has an expert opinion, or as a woman or girl with disability, you can write to us on boldheartsnetwork.info@gmail.com, and we will respond. You can even inbox, I will respond, and you can tell us your areas of interest where you want your voice to be heard, and we will put you on that episode to let your voice be amplified. So until we come your way, same time, same place, we want you to learn inclusion, practice inclusion, and be inclusive. So ladies, as we always do, please unmute your microphone and say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Happy
Happy World Albinism
Day.
This is Bold TV. This is Bold TV.